Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Dora, the Aloha Shirt Psychic. You just saw me not long ago. Um, quick shirt change. Ran downstairs, got a quick sandwich, and back again. The lead in, I want to thank Arthur, Ease Your Mind. He's in the house. It's Aloha Tuesday, actually Wednesday, with Arthur and Mel.
It's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. What am I thinking? You know what I was thinking last night, because we were going to be on Sherry's show, and then everything
And I talked to her. She's doing fine. She survived.
Okay.
No, Margaret Hamilton's for her.
Anyway, thank you for that lead in, and good. And so, people, everybody, if you're when you put your hygiene, got new members, when you put your questions in the comment section, please, 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 please put them in capital letters so that we can, they're easier to see.
We're old people. We have bad eyes.
Jenny W. says, many thanks to the wonderful people who gifted me a 1-month membership. You're welcome and awesome. Yay. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. Veronica's here. Thomas, Becky Gilberto, Teresa Campbell, Sherry's with us, Voices from the Swamp, Tea Garden Chicken, UCC Steve. These are new members. Ness. Okay. Let's see. Marby. I'm sorry, Marby. Bora Bora. Yay. Veronica. Sacred Hog. Olga. Let's see. We're looking here. Jenny W. Becky Stone. Donna Stapleton. Yay. We got some people with us. So here we go. So please put your questions in capital letters, and you can ask about, politics, world events. You don't have to be a member now. This is for subscribers from Arthur's channel and mine. So anyway, so Arthur, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
They can go, it's all on my YouTube page at Arthur Ease Your Mind, YouTube, but also www.arthureaseyourmind.com. Or if you feel like wanting to call me, 310-494-5955. But if you ask for a reading at that moment, I'll say make an appointment.
Okay.
How do we reach you, Mr. Mel?
I'm sorry?
And how do we reach you?
I'm sorry. You can reach me at 847-590-5411, or email me at www.meldoer.com. I usually put it in the banner at the bottom, but I forgot to.
I don't know how to do it.
I know how to do it. I just forgot to do it.
It's okay.
And now that
you've had a busy day, you've had a very busy
streaming live, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can go out and put it up. So anyway, we'll keep announcing it during the show so people can, you can put it in the comments, Arthur, if you want to as well.
It's already in my comment section.
Oh, okay, good. It's not mine.
And I also have something about if you want to go to Chicago, that's all information's there too, and memberships and joining.
We're in Chicago. I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I.
Yay. Get your plane ticket.
I know. It's kind of early, but we'll get it.
Okay. Let's see here. I am scrolling. Okay.
Scrolling.
Judy Lacey says, do you guys know what happened to Lilac Lantern? I've not seen her for quite a while. I don't know, actually. Does anybody know out there?
I don't know who that is, so might be before my time.
I'm sorry?
Might be before my time. It doesn't ring a bell with me.
I know who it is. I just don't know what happened. But anyway, if anybody out there knows, let us know. Becky Gilberto says, I'm watching you all on my big TV, and you're so handsome. Well, Becky, they say the eyes are the first to go, honey, but thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, it's like when I worked the band, I said, the more you drink, the better we sound.
All right. Bora Bora. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. Robin Cozart, must rhyme with Mozart, says, "What do you see for the weather on the East Coast, please?" You go ahead, Arthur. While I'm, huh?
I just get this whole between now and the end of the year, everything's just being unseasonable and unreasonable. And if we're talking about the Florida coast, I feel there's going to be hurricanes and lots of high winds and lots of high water. And I also feel there's going to be some storm activity over the summer of the upper East Coast, northern East Coast, with lots of like terrifying chance of tornadoes, even in like Pennsylvania and stuff like that.
Well, for the East Coast, I see huge storms coming, hurricanes, and I see some whipping up through the Gulf. And those storms are more ferocious. I understand now that they've given, it used to be the strongest hurricane was a 5, and now they've
There's 6.
6.
Yeah.
So I see some 6s, flooding because of the storm surges. Also, unseasonably warm temperatures, really hot. And a lot of people are going to be worried if the grid can handle all of that. It was crazy here in the Midwest. In February in Chicago, we had 74 degrees, which is unheard of. We only had 2 or 3 minor snowstorms this year, and usually we have a bunch of them. And it's mid-May right now, and it was like almost 80 yesterday. So typically we're just now getting weather in the 60s and 70s, but it's like
it's warmer there than in Los Angeles.
Right, it is, and it was warmer here than in Hawaii. So go figure.
And then a couple weeks, what was it? A month ago or so, we were doing a show, and at the very end, tornado warnings hit, and you had to run.
I remember that.
Bye, see ya.
Everything was going off. I'm like, bye, gotta go.
You grabbed your dog and you went.
Well, when those sirens go off, you do not mess around. You get to shelter because.
Well, that's what Sherry was saying. Everyone's phone was going off, getting to shelter yesterday in her area, and
yeah, you don't mess with that because that means a tornado's on the ground, and it means it's near you, and you don't know where it's at, especially if it's at night.
Mm-hmm.
So,
where's Margaret Hamilton when you need her?
Too late. So you got to be careful with that. All right, here we go. Carol Bark. Hi, Carol. Hello, Mel and Arthur. Will DJT, the orange turd,
Dowsy Diaper Don,
be convicted on the election interference hush money trial? Well, there's 2. Hush money trial and then election interference.
Well, one's in New York, one's D.C.
Right.
And he will be convicted in the hush money in New York City. And he'll appeal it, but it's still, he's going to be a convicted criminal.
I see him convicted in New York. My guides had told me he would try to try some shenanigans about, like trying for a mistrial and things like that. It's exactly what they did.
He's doing all that, but.
Right. And then what he's going to try to do is, I think, well, the defense is obviously trying to raise reasonable doubt with the jurors. But even if one juror says that he's not guilty, it's a hung jury. But, even if it's a hung jury,
these can still
he has to go to trial again.
But I don't see a hung jury. I'm just be honest with you.
No, I don't either. I'm just.
Oh, by the way, I got a hit this week. A really nice hit from a show we did last Tuesday.
Okay.
We're talking about the gag order.
Right.
And I said, I wish they would just like wheel him in like Hannibal Lecter with that face mask.
Yeah.
This past weekend in Wildman, New Jersey, he's giving his little Trump speech. He started talking about Hannibal Lecter. Can you believe it?
I know. The other part of it is, as I was saying, with hung jury and mistrial. Well, what's going to happen when he's convicted? Then he's going to appeal it to try to say that it should have been a hung jury, but the appeals court is not going to hear it. They're going to say, no, nothing happened that would I'm sorry.
Well, he's already trying to go against the gag order, and it's just not going to happen either.
I'm saying nothing happened that would cause a mistrial.
Mhm.
I see him convicted either way. The bottom line is, but there were a lot of other politicians that showed up there today.
Oh, yeah. And yesterday, Tommy Tupperville, Johnson, Vance.
Senators. But and I said to myself, why? And my psychic light bulb went on. Ever since Trump, now where were these clowns in the beginning of the trial? Right? Why were they not showing up then? Oh, we want to show.
They want to be VPs. That's why.
Well, that's a part of it. They want to be a part in his cabinet. But the other part of it is my light bulb went on, my psychic light bulb, and that Trump and his team got to these people because they know who's friendly with them and said, why don't you come to the trial and speak up against the judge and the judge's daughter, because Donald can't, but we want you to.
Which is part of the gag order.
That's exactly what happened. And there are going to be some people that'll come forward and say that some of Trump's people got to these guys and said, here's what we want you to do.
Like what's her name, that judge from Fox? She was just hideous yesterday.
Oh, I know. but Trump is doing that because he thinks he can skate around the gag order. But what concerned me the most was that, they were vilifying the daughter and they saying, oh, it's Democratic operatives that are doing this. Now, here are politicians and elected officials that took an oath to uphold the Constitution.
Right.
That took an oath to uphold the government. All right. And by going in and attacking the very system, our courts, our justice system that they swore an oath to uphold, what does that tell you about them?
They sold their soul to Mephistopheles.
They don't care about democracy. They don't care. For Johnson, the Speaker of the House, do you know how foreign people watching, like Putin and other countries that are just waiting for weakness so they can kind of come in and devour? Do you know what a threat that was to national security for him to have his ass parked there?
Yeah. Wow. But I'm also sure he's showing up so he doesn't get ousted.
Well, partly, but the other part of it is because, Trump didn't do it directly, but he told people who told people who told other people to do it. The same as when he was planning the insurrection.
It's like a mob, the head mob guys. You know how to take care of it. I didn't say what to do. I just said take care of it.
Yeah, but he better watch because he could be held on trial. And my light bulb just went on.
I get that. I get there are going to be people in trouble with this.
Well, here's what I see. I see at some point they're going to bring RICO charges against him again, not only in Georgia, but New York. And
that's federal.
Well, it could be state as well, but also it could be federal. But yeah, it can be federal.
Oh, that's what I just picked up. If they do it, it'll be a federal RICO.
Well, I see RICO. The other part of it is that I see the state of New York preferring criminal charges against him for the fraud, the tax fraud.
Oh, and you also heard about what he did in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
With the double dipping.
Yes.
And getting a $73 million tax refund.
That's exactly right. And I just wonder if the state of Illinois is going to start looking into it as well. And I feel they will.
Yeah, I do too.
And, we have Trump Tower in Chicago. And my guides have told me for a very, 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 very long time that his name is going to be taken down from that tower.
And you just want the T to go.
And that's exactly what I said. I made the joke. I see the T coming down first and just leave Rump up there for a while. And I really got a funny feeling they'll do that. All right. Somebody says they're setting up for Chicago. They'll be able to drive from Indy. Good. I know Sherry's telling me how to tap on the banner tag on the right. Sherry, I can't right now, honey, because
Mel can't walk, read, and do readings at the same time.
Well, I'm doing like 5 things at once here. So,
Yeah.
all right,
You didn't go to juggling school.
there you go. Okay, let me take a look. I'm scrolling. Okay,
Just star and
okay.
there you go.
I know how to star, but usually I have somebody starring them for me. Sylvia Munoz. Hi, Sylvia. How will President Biden do with Chinese tariffs imports? Will he be successful?
Yes.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Or in Chinese, she she.
Is that what that means?
No, that means thank you. She is yes.
Watch, you might be saying something that you don't know what you're saying.
Oh, I know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing.
I can order from column A and column B in Mandarin. I'm very proficient in that. That's about it.
All right. So I agree that he will be successful with the
Tariffs.
tariffs, Chinese tariffs imports. Then Trump's going to be like, oh, well, Trump is the one too that was like, wasn't he trying to cause all kinds of problem with, China imports and exports?
Well, that's because they China, China, China. Yet he's a bank account in China. All of anything that he ever makes is made out of China. His daughter has patents in China. So come on.
My light bulb just went on.
What?
It's going to be disclosed that he got some money from China, some dark money from China, entertainment purposes only.
Let us entertain you.
Right. Okay, let's see here. Becky Gilberto says that all the politicians are afraid of the truth coming out. No, they're there because Trump's people told them to be there, and they're trying to make political gain for themselves. Obviously, it almost just reminded me, pardon my language, of vultures on the gut wagon. And I know
it just reminds me of The Godfather.
Just a bunch of vultures, But I'm telling you that Trump's people got to some of them, because why all of a sudden on the
same day
would they all show up?
Sitting behind Eric Trump. So, and he's the family token showing up.
If this keeps up, the judge will restrict them from the courtroom if they haven't been already.
Well, they're campaigning for the guy, so it's like, come on.
Okay. Here, this is a good one. Chris Mund. Hi, Chris. Is anything going to happen to Trump since he admitted to having his peeps dish out things he can't say to the gag order?
That's what we were just talking about.
Right, exactly. The answer is yes, because there's going to be some people that'll come forward now that'll say that that's exactly what happened on the Trump team. Now, then when they ask the people that the peeps got to, did they tell you to say this? Well, they didn't tell them exactly what to say, but well, kind of they did. Like, touch on the judge's daughter about how she's, how she's a Democrat and how she's making money and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they got bullet points.
Well, to vilify the judge.
Yeah.
Look bad, but it's not working.
No.
Okay.
No. You'd have to be Mr. Magoo to think that you could see it.
Right. John Burnside says, Mother of Mercy, is this the start of another recall? Yes, it is.
RICO. Enrico was his name. Oh.
Okay. Stargazer says, Russia is making headway in Ukraine. Will Ukraine be able to reverse this? The answer is yes. Arthur, you're shaking your head.
I still see Ukraine becoming part of NATO within 18 months, 2 years. So they win.
And, I see NATO really Ukraine really pushing back.
I also think Ukraine is keeping things quiet and then they just go in.
Well, Putin I'm telling you right now, he just fired his defense minister, or whatever it was, and then a couple other people in his cabinet. So he's playing round robin, and I'm thinking, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen to some of them. I got a funny feeling they're going to get pushed out of some.
Don't get on the airplane.
Yeah, right. They'll get pushed out of some first floor windows too.
But I've been predicting after April that Putin's health is going to start declining as well.
Well,
entertainment purposes only.
I'm thinking the reason he changed around his staff is because he behind the scenes is worried about what's going to happen in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that he might have made some headway, but he won't hold it.
He thought he would have gone in there and finished by now.
But he's planning a big offensive, like I think more in the south and in the north, huge offensive. So thinking that Ukraine troops, they don't have enough troops to fight off both. But Ukraine will have. In Ukraine, I see getting airplanes. And
I was going to say, they'll have the jets by then, and everything's going to be fine.
Well, I see getting weapons and tanks and guns. And I see a lot of mercenaries coming in to help the Ukrainians.
And on top of that, I'm getting that a lot of mothers are tired of their sons going to war in Russia.
Right.
And they're tired. They're done.
Well, a lot of Russian people are leaving en masse, but then Putin is trying to say that they can't leave. And then if they protest, they get locked up. But you can't lock up everybody.
No.
And so I see a lot of people coming out en masse. You'll see it's going to start.
Well, you can't lock up an idea.
Right. That's true. But I see people protesting en masse, and Putin had better watch it.
I feel in July, August, there's going to be a lot of turmoil in Moscow.
There is. There absolutely is. And I just see the Ukrainians getting weapons. I see them getting a lot more money. And I also see them getting help from a lot of mercenaries. And what I see happening is a lot of countries are going to be taking their soldiers and saying they're mercenaries and sending them to Ukraine, because this way Putin can't say, well, this country
NATO's bringing in. Yeah, exactly.
And that is an act of war against Russia.
Well, that's what they did with Crimea. When they started taking over Crimea, there were no Russian uniforms, no nothing. They just showed up one day.
Well, that's exactly what I see that's going to happen with the Ukrainians. They're just going to get a bunch of people to show up one day. And, Putin will threaten with nuclear weapons. And I do not see that. I do not see a nuclear war. He's trying to cause instability in the world. He wants the countries in the old Soviet Union back.
Right.
It will not happen.
Mm-mm.
They're going to fight back. Unless Trump wins and weakens NATO and lets Putin do what Putin wants. But Trump is not going to win. I don't feel.
As I said to Linda, you got to be alive to be a president.
You always say that.
I think it was one of the first ones to say it. Now they're saying his health isn't doing good. So we'll see.
Okay. Silvio Munoz, update on Hunter Biden. What's Hunter's energy right now? Frustrated, and planned. What do you think? I see him suing Marjorie.
I see. Well, he went off. He's going to be suing Congress. He's going to be suing Fox. Now, the one judge is saying she's not letting go of that in Delaware of his offense or whatever it was with the gun, which nobody else would have ever been held accountable for. And I feel that itself is going to unravel as well. But people forget he's a lawyer. People forget. And Marty Taylor Greene is going to be, singing a different tune in about a year.
He's going to win that suit against Marjorie Taylor Greene. If she takes it to court, she's an idiot. He's going to win against, what news channel? Big time.
Faux news, yeah.
They'll want an out-of-court settlement, but I think him saying, no, we're going to go all the way to court because he wants it out there.
Well, they'll all be embarrassed.
If that judge is that's holding him on the gun charge,
mm-hmm.
It's almost like she feels like a Eileen Cannon, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. By the way, I was talking to a client yesterday, and I said it came out of my mouth. Eileen Cannon's gone by the end of July.
She is going. I see it.
Get the cannon ready. Shoot her out of it.
Jack Smith is planning a lot of things behind the scenes. A lot of things.
He's got a list. He's checking it twice.
He's covering every possibility. and I forget what it's called. There's a legal term, but I can't think of it. But he's going to go to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and because of what
Get
he
her
does,
recused.
she'll be removed from the case.
Removed, yeah. And
So
then she'll be selling, maybe
she'll be
property or
saying
something.
she'll be selling used shoes on the corner.
Yeah, and they'll be gold sneakers
She'll be selling used gold sneakers and the
and Bibles.
Bible. Well, this
Oh.
green. Okay, Elizabeth says, "Is Ukraine going to lose the war?" I
No.
don't see that. I
No.
just don't. Okay.
Yes.
Jenny, will Prop 1 be successful in California? I don't know what Prop 1 is, so you'll have to tell me.
Prop 1 is basically, it's designed to help the homeless. It's designed so that when the police come in and the person is like been touched and not by an angel, that they know where to place this person, as opposed to the police just coming in and arresting them. So it's a more humanitarian way of approaching things. And I feel it got passed and it's going to be successful. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But there's some things that have been happening here in Los Angeles where if there's a homeless encampment, there are apps we can report it, but then they come in, but then they gracefully help them move on, not to another neighborhood, but rehabilitation, things like that. So it's going to work.
And housing for the homeless is what they need.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of, I mean, it's sad that there are so many homeless people, who knows how many are mentally ill. But, it was sad when they closed the mental hospitals years ago.
It was Ronald Reagan.
People out, they had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go back to those type of asylums. But
No.
I do see mental hospitals where it can be residential and, government funding coming to help cover that.
There's more compassion. There'll be more compassion
about mental illness. Absolutely. Yeah. And so then they try to get them jobs and things, for the ones that can. I was in San Francisco, beautiful city, but there's so many homeless. Mm-hmm. And I think part of the problem is that it's become so prohibitively expensive that a lot of people, if they're just, on SSI or their disability payments, they can't afford. Mm-mm. They can't afford the place because it's so expensive.
And you miss one payment, and then you have your health stuff coming up, and you just get sucked into it.
I think what they're going to do is subsidized housing. A lot more of that I see in places like San Francisco, where you pay the rent based on your income, and it's for people that are poor.
But not a Section 8, something else.
No, it's something else, but it'll be really decent housing. So, but I like the Prop 1. I just think it needs a lot of tweaking.
It's going to, but they just put it in this year, so it was just voted on.
Okay, Irene Chavez. So what's going on with Ted Cruz running for re-election now that Henry Cuellar, is that how you say it?
I'm not sure.
Is being investigated and indicted? Are there any Democrats that can beat Ted Cruz? Isn't it funny that how they investigate and indict one when they overlook the other ones? They're indicting people, but yet, Trump was indicted, but yet you've got the Speaker of the House, you've got some senators, the MAGA ones that are there, hurrahing him and almost like saying it's okay to break the law and questioning our own system of justice and questioning a judge. They should be questioning Eileen Cannon.
Right. And can I just go on a soap opera for 1 second?
Yep, go ahead.
I was really PO'd at CNN. They recently did this whole thing about fact checking what Biden has to say. And there was one thing they were disagreeing on, and they made a big production out of it. What about all the stuff that Trump's been doing, for the last 8 years? They never fact checked. So I'm off my soapbox now. I'm shorter.
That was good.
Ted Cruz, I still don't see winning. If he does win, it's dark money and it gets found out, and he'll be leaving.
I see the billy goat being gone. I call him a billy goat because of those chin things. I see him being gone. You know, I see him. I know it's going to sound crazy, but once Abbott is gone and Cruz is gone, Paxton is gone.
And then there were none. It's an Agatha Christie movie.
Well, I see Texas going purple at some point, a lot sooner than later. I don't know what Hinway. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Queller. I don't know why he's being investigated, but I do see indictments there. Yes, okay. But there are Democrats that can beat Ted Cruz. I think Beto is one of them, or Beto, I think you pronounce it, is one of them. But
he's in a different district.
I'm sorry?
I don't know how it works. So,
well, Ted Cruz is a senator.
Okay.
Not a house. I think.
And Connie says it's pronounced color.
I don't know how.
Yeah. I don't see him being around. I mean, let him go read Green Eggs and Ham, in the park bench, not in Senate.
Okay. Sherry. Hey, Sherry. Well, Ivanka got... Oh, hold on. Siri is thinking I'm talking to her, and I'm not. And she said, just to confirm, you want me to call Sherry? I heard it by hearing aids. I'm like, no. Siri almost butt dialed you, girlfriend. Okay. Will Ivanka get patents for coffins 6 months before the big C hit? What is she? I don't understand the question.
I don't understand the question either. Ivanka.
She got patents. Ivanka got patents for coffins 6 months before. I gotcha.
The big C hat.
She said that's awfully expensive. I gotcha. Yeah, it sounds pretty suspicious.
Anything that family does is suspicious.
All right. Irene Chavez wants to know, is Zelensky going to be okay? There was a plot that was uncovered that I think that Putin was going to try to assassinate him.
There's been more than one, believe me.
And then Putin would say, "Oh, it wasn't us. It was," and he was assassinated for whatever.
I don't see him getting assassinated.
I don't either. And there's going to be a couple, 2 or 3 more plots uncovered, but he's going to be okay. He's not going to, he'll be reelected again in Ukraine. But my light bulb just went on again, and my guides are telling me that Putin is going to try to put, what do you call it, a shell candidate in there?
Puppet.
Like, I'm sorry, what do you call it? What kind?
A puppet.
Well, no, but somebody that'll claim that they're all about Ukraine and anti-Russia, but it would really be somebody that's a puppet to Putin.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
A shill. That's shill.
Or I think we call them Republicans here in the States.
Well, the ones that showed up at the court today. But but that shill will be found out and uncovered. Mm-hmm. That plot will be uncovered. So, all right. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Oh, a lot of U.S. troops are on the Polish border. That's right. There are. Because United States intelligence, I feel, my guides are telling me that we know Putin, from Ukraine, he wanted to march into the Baltic republics and down into probably Slovakia and maybe Romania. And so if there's troops on the Polish border, that prevents that from happening.
Also, it's the U.S. troops on the Polish border that have also been training a lot of the Ukrainians how to fly.
They are. They are.
Dubja.
And I also see helicopters coming to Ukraine, too, now that you said that. Okay. Kathy Reagan's. Hello, fabulous Auntie Mel Arthur. Do you see the war winding down in Ukraine next year? A lot of people in the community said it would only last a few 2 or 3 months when it started. And I said, no, it's going to go on and on and on.
I got the number 3 around it when it first started. And I didn't think it was 3 months.
I'm thinking it's closer to 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I just feel that Putin's going to do something. The world is going to see. Ukraine's going to win. End of story.
Oh, here we go. It says Sherry, look at all the Americans who went to Ukraine and joined the army.
That's correct.
There's a lot more people that are going to do that from all over.
On the web for all the Americans. Check it out.
Hold on, my phone just went off. Siri just went off. That was my Siri, not yours.
Mine just did it too. I think she's having a nervous breakdown today. I think she must have, I don't know what she got into, but she better get out of it.
Well, I'm glad Alexa's not joining in because she does that too.
Okay. All right, this is a good one.
Thanks, Sherry.
Hello, fabulous Auntie Mel.
And
Marvelous
Marvelous.
My question is, do you see more people staying away from the Trump's political rallies? Yeah, like the ones in New Jersey. They left up that. They said there were 80,000 people. They were only, what were the license only for like 10,000, and not that many people showed up.
Not only that, supposedly a senator like submitted some picture, and they found it was from a concert from 1984 or 87.
Exactly. And did you also see when they did show the real pictures that it was almost empty?
And people were actually, as Midas Touch reported, people were actually getting up and leaving while he was talking.
I told
Linda, about the Hannibal Lecter thing.
Well, and he paid people to come there.
Yeah.
I told Linda Grindle, if he would have paid me to come there, I would have gone, listened to what he had to say, walked away, taken the money, and donated it to Biden's campaign.
I do that too, but I hope there'd be a box lunch at least.
No, you ain't getting that. Okay, here we go. This is a good question. Getting it right. Thank you, getting it right. Getting it right always, I love this getting it right. I love her because there's a little nuance or something. She's always no. And so keep up that good work getting it right. I just love when you do that. I really do. What do you see for JD Vance? Thank you.
The first word I get from the guy just screamed out flatlining.
I like that.
I told you, Manny, Mo, and Jack have a sense of humor. They just said flatlining.
I get the word trouble.
In River City.
I get the word trouble. You know what, Sherry? I'm going to look into it more, but that's just what came up right away. I'm sorry, not Sherry, getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Debbie Palumbo likes my shirt. I bought this to take to San Francisco last September. I got 3 shirts to take to San Francisco, and this was one of them. This was a night that we went out for Linda Grindle's birthday at the Tonga Room. Mm-hmm. That was so cool. And it was the first steak they had had since my surgery in July. So I had a steak that night. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. All right.
A little bit of heaven.
That was incredible, that restaurant. Okay, let's see. Okay. Hello, fabulous Auntie Mel and the very dynamic Arthur. My question is, do you see Judge Judy winning her lawsuit against the National
Inquirer?
I didn't know she had a lawsuit against them. I do see a win on her part.
Yeah, I do. I want to mention something else. They're all talking about the catch and kill with Stormy Daniels and all that and the other things. I don't think people realize, but the National Enquirer forever have always done catch and kills. That's why they were able to get these celebrities like Bill Cosby to do interviews and sit-down interviews because they had files on him. It was like, we either release this or you do a sit-down interview with us.
But this catch and kill
affected the entire nation.
Different. This catch and kill was to stifle a story to change the outcome of
the election. I know. I'm just saying though that that's been part of their philosophy all along. But then this is on steroids what they did with Stormy Daniels.
I understand that, but the point is that yes, they've done catch and kill for years, but this was a plot. Okay, to hush her up so that to change the outcome of election, and that was the crime in it. He's going to be found guilty. They keep saying it's about sex. Well, and then on the mistrial, the defense said, "Well, Your Honor, was about sex. And the judge said, yes, but in your opening arguments, you're the one that said that's what's it about.
And then when the mistrial, and then the lawyer starts asking Stormy Daniels all the questions that they were complaining they didn't want asked about sex.
Right.
I didn't want to know about that magazine with his face cover on it that she was spanking him with. That's just TMI.
Exactly. Okay. Sharon Donnelly brings up a good point. There was no infrastructure when the deinstitutional movement was enacted. I know, that's why they should have had infrastructure. And Anne brings up a good point. We're talking about the homeless now. They should renovate all the empty office buildings into apartments for the homeless. They would need social service. Yeah, but the problem is those buildings are privately owned, and then the government would have to buy them or subsidize it, and they'd have to figure out a way to raise money to do that.
And if it was privatized, somebody's going to try and find money, and money will not go to the people it's supposed to.
Oh, that's true. Okay, let's see. I'm still.
And I just want to point out to everyone that Mel and I talk. Sometimes these are not our opinions. It's what we get from our guides.
Correct. Absolutely. It sounds like people say, oh, it sounds like that's your opinion and not your psychic stuff. And that's why I say my guides tell me I do it. I
forget to say, they're saying.
But so everything we're saying is psychic. It's, but I have to reiterate that occasionally because people say, is that just you or is that? No, it's psychic stuff.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to point that out.
That was a good point. Arthur. Okay. Okay. This is a good.
I also just want to say, I really enjoy doing these shows with you, Mel. Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoy doing with you too. We have fun.
Yeah.
JL says, are there even any more than just 1 day or 1 week homeless shelters that provide stable and safe residential environments that will indeed provide for and protect these permanent homeless? We have soup kitchens here in Chicago.
Eventually, I'm going to say yes. Eventually,
yes. In the wintertime, we have warming shelters. In the summertime, cooling shelters, but it's still not enough, not near enough. Okay, let's see. I'm scrolling here.
Scrolling.
Oh, you pronounce it Cuellar, that person whose name we couldn't pronounce. Cuellar. Okay. Hold on a minute. Well, I'm searching here.
You're doing what I did last week.
Well, that's why it's good to have somebody to start it. Here. This is a good one. Are there any permanent residencies for long-term homeless people run by any religious organizations that don't involve religious conversions? They just provide a long-term safe domicile. I think there are some that are sponsored. I don't know how long-term they are, without trying to proselytize and convert people.
The Catholic Church used to have those and not try and convert.
I'm sorry, say again.
The Catholic Church used to have things like that and not try to convert.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what it is today, but at one point, I do know that.
Well, look what Mother Teresa did for the dying.
I love Mother Teresa's quote when she said, "God's not going to give you anything that you cannot handle. I wish he didn't have so much faith in me."
Wow. I like that. All right. Phil Nelson said, hi, Phil. Putin must have a target on his back from the inside. Do you see anything being successful? Oh, he's got more targets than a rifle range. But he sequesters himself. He only surrounds himself with very few people. And that's exactly what Stalin did.
And Hitler. I mean, they tried to blow up the bunker. It didn't work, but,
It was worse. All right. Sherry says, you all be sure to join memberships for Mel and Arthur's channels. Just hit the subscribe button right down below. Subscribe. There's a little bell. And if you hit that, it'll let you know when we got stuff coming up. But today is for our subscribers and our members, but it's for everybody today. So subscribe.
It's a free for all.
Anybody can ask questions. All right.
Doesn't mean we're going to answer them, but you can ask.
Kevin's Loving Vibrations is in the house. Hi, Kevin. are you? Kevin, I'm trying this, buddy. I'm trying to do it. I can see Kevin giggling. Okay. Oh, Aiden, this is Aiden says, are the Russians hacking Siri? They don't want you to say any, they, they don't want you saying praises about Ukraine. Hey, Siri, are you being hacked by the Russians? She says, sorry, I don't understand.
Siri, are you a plant for Russia?
I found this on the web.
Learn all about Russian sage, whatever.
Okay, here we go. We digress. Okay, Artist Liz. Hi, Artist Liz. How are you? Okay, will Bill Barr ever be held accountable for his crimes and destroying the Mueller report? Barr was also the last person to see Epstein alive. Anything? Thank you both. I see the Mueller report being brought to front and center.
Mm-hmm.
And
Bill Barr can try and backpedal all he wants to try and get a deal. But I know that Jack Smith has not only a file, but probably a filing cabinet with everything this man has done. He's in trouble.
And I see my guides have shown me this for a long time, that there's going to be some people coming forward to say that Bill Barr was influenced by Trump, and that and there's going to be proof of that. And Barr can say no, but there's going to be proof of it. And my guides have told me for a long time that Bill Barr, he thought that he was being slick by the way he answered questions and kind of like slimed around things. But I see him under indictment at some point.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, definitely. He's not going to get away with it. And the fact that I've always been thinking, he was the last person to see Epstein alive. I don't think he was sitting there trying to kill him, but maybe he gave him his papers.
Okay. Songson, rumor has it Oprah bought lots of land in Maui, but I heard it was for farming. Is she being kind or greedy? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the rumor, and I haven't talked to my friends, my Ohana and Hawaii, to find out. But if she did, I don't think it was to be greedy. I don't.
Don't forget, when everything went down, she was the first one to send aid out of her own pocket.
Right.
To Hawaii.
That's right. Exactly.
Flyers.
Anya Ashdown, I would love to see all the newly empty shopping centers turned to some kind of decent housing. So much money spent to build these years ago. You know what, Anya, as much as I'd like to say I see that happening, I don't. I probably think at some point, developers are waiting to get those shopping centers dirt cheap to tear them down and put up condos and things like that, but not for the poor or the homeless, more high-end stuff.
There was actually a hospital over here in Beverly Hills on Pico and Beverly. It closed down. Marriott bought it and turned it into a Marriott.
I rest my case. Okay. Oh, here, Robert Hartman. He's commenting on that fake picture. Was it in the 1994 concert of Rod Stewart with in Brazil with mountains in the background?
Probably.
There were mountains in the background. I don't think there's any mountains where this thing was taken.
Not in New Jersey.
All right. Let's see here. I am scrolling.
There may be mounds where Jimmy Hoffa is, but that's about it. Not mountains.
Give me 1 second here. Kevin Loving Vibrations. Okay. All right. She said, getting it right. Thank you, Mel. I should have explained. I believe J.D. Vance is rotten like Stephen Miller. Yep, you got that one right, too, getting it right. He's a strong contender for VP and was with DT in court today.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. And the only reason he was there, a lot of them are there because they want to be VP, but I'm telling you, a lot of them are there because they were influenced by Trump. And some of them that were talking, my feeling is as we said earlier, Trump's cronies got to them. Who was it that was talking BS about the judge and the judge's daughter? And when I saw that, I'm like, uh-oh, Trump's people got to him.
They all got the same script.
But that's going to get to the judge, and the judge is going to sternly warn Trump's defense team, this needs to stop. And if it keeps up, the judge will ban those people from the courtroom.
Yes. It's his courtroom. He can do what he wants.
Thanks. Thank you. Getting it right.
Yes, thanks.
Okay. All right. This is a good one. Chris Queen says, Aloha. Can you please read on the hurricane season in Hawaii? Everyone stops at the West Coast. Mahalo. Well, Hawaii hasn't been hit by a major hurricane since Hurricane Iniki in 1992 or 93. And usually Hawaii gets hit every 30 years. I think it's been a little bit longer. Hawaii getting hit by hurricanes is pretty rare, but with climate change, go figure. I do see a hurricane, but I don't, it's within the next couple of years. It's not going to be to the degree of Iniki. That hurricane was like huge. A lot of those hotels closed and it took them forever to come back. One didn't, the Cocoa Palms, but I don't think it'll do the damage that Iniki did. I don't think it'll hit Oahu. That's where Honolulu is. And that's like the supply center for the whole state of Hawaii. I think it'll hit an outer island. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I keep on, that's right. I interrupt you all the time anyway. What I get here is, like earlier this year, I feel there'll be some storms, like maybe 100 miles off the coast. It'll affect with waves and high waters, but I don't see the hurricane hitting the islands at this moment. They're like passing by is what I'm getting here.
Okay. All right. Ryan Shostak. Hi, guys. Will Leonard Leo face justice? Yes, yes, and yes. Light bulb.
Does the Pope live in the Vatican?
No, he doesn't.
I know. He lives in that little castle, but anyway.
Oh, where he lives. Okay. Thursday night, I'll be on with Kevin's Loving Vibrations, by the way. We'll be live on my show.
Hey,
I'll have the shows. Okay. Mona Rogers says, loved your show today, Kevin Loving's Vibrations. Everybody go over to Kevin Loving Vibration. Subscribe, join. Arthur, thumbs up. Subscribe, join. Me, what could I say? No teasing.
Subscribe, like.
Okay.
Join.
Let's see. Somebody said, don't be rude. I don't know who's being rude.
Well, I apologize if I was rude.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said I apologize if I came across as being rude.
I don't think they're talking about you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on. I just read it in the okay. Here, this is Stargazer. Here in San Diego area, 1/3 of people becoming homeless are seniors being priced out by high rent prices.
And that's talking about
why they're buying up a lot of the they're raising the assessments on a lot of the condos, and the hurricane or the insurance so high that people can't afford it, and they're being forced to sell. And then what happens is the timeshare people come in and buy it all up. So I see legislation being passed in Hawaii to prevent that.
Well, I have a friend who was telling me about a dear friend of hers that lives in Hawaii, that him and his wife were evicted because they couldn't, they raised the rent and they just got evicted. So it's like they found somewhere to live right away, but it was like, with no notice really. And that's how they're doing things. So that's why people are ending up as homeless, because they're like the rugs pulled out from under them without any advance notice.
Right. I want to thank our moderators. They do such an incredible job. They all do. And I want to thank every single one of them. I'm just thankful that they're here to help us out. So thank all of you.
We can barely walk and talk at the same time. So thank you.
Oh, this is a good one. I remember this.
What?
Remember Gary Hart, Dem, who ran for president and ran into difficulty when there was a woman on his side? Yeah, he was a Democrat, and he had to drop out of the race because of
Well,
that.
the thing is, though, he also told the press he was, he's not dirty. Come and find me. And then he come and find it. There's nothing about me. And so then that picture was originally sent to Star Magazine, and they turned it down. And then it went to the National Enquirer, and they bought it up. That's how it all started.
Yeah, when he withdrew from the race, but I think that's the year Bill Clinton.
And then they went after, but Clinton was already president, and so they started going after him. But it was too late. They were trying to catch up.
Yeah, but here again.
But Donna Rice. It was Donna Rice, wasn't it? With Gary Hart.
But look what they did to Gary Hart. But yet it comes out that Donald Trump
can grab him by the pee and still.
That Donald Trump has a fling with a porn star, and everybody thinks, "Oh my God, that's okay. It's it's a witch hunt. Look what they're doing."
Look what they did to John Edwards when he was running. The National Enquirer wrote a story about his love child with the makeup artist.
Okay, so the bottom line is that the hypocrisy astounds me.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay for one person and wrong for everybody else. It doesn't work that way. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. That was really nice of you. This is from Kevin. Okay.
Well, it's better to smash the thumbs up than smash us in the face. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Martha M. Hi, Mel and Arthur. Eyes that would be awesome for low rent places. Here in downtown Miami, Florida, the stores and block or something are extremely boarded up. Don't know what they will do with block after block closing. They will purchase it and put high-end condos on it.
And if Jared Kushner has anything to say, he'll be building condos.
It used to be that it was pretty affordable in Miami. Now it's more expensive than Chicago. I mean, it's really prohibitively expensive there. Okay, we got time for just a few more here. Eileen Bernard says, will Mike Johnson be voted out of his seat in Louisiana? Yes.
I'll go back to what I said 10 minutes after his name came out. I said, scandal, end of May. It's going to start his decline.
Absolutely. It's like Sherry Voices from the Swamp said, everybody needs to get out and vote, because in Louisiana they had voter apathy, and look at the governor they have now.
And look at that. And now they're trying to get those 2 drugs that they use for abortions listed that as like a certain kind of listing as a drug that will get you 10 years in jail if you use it.
Well, that's not going to work.
I'm just saying they're trying to do that.
But as Sherry was saying, that
vote,
everybody get out and vote, because there was voter apathy in Louisiana. And
look what you get.
The governor they had, who, by the way, will be a one-term governor. A lot of dirt's going to come out on him, too. Okay, we got time for one more, and this will be it. Mona Rogers says, any news on Hamas? I'm hearing bad things about them, and another aid person was killed. I see more hostages being released. Unfortunately, I think many of them have been deceased. It's unfortunate when aid workers get killed. So at some point, I see Hamas's wings being clipped. It was horrible what they did when they attacked Israel. But on the same token, it's horrible what Netanyahu is doing to the Palestinians in Gaza. Mm-hmm. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Correct.
But, I think that Hamas wanted to destabilize the whole Middle East, and that was coming from Iran and Putin, like we've already talked about. Right. But they won't succeed. I do not see success. I don't know what you think, Arthur, but go ahead.
Oh, no, I agree. But I do want to say that I feel Hamas has come to the table, and then Netanyahu no, I'm not going to agree with that.
Okay.
So that's been going back and forth.
Here we go. Robert Hartman, do you see if Sarah Gideon in Maine next election, because she's lost to Susan Collins in 2020, Do you see if the next run she runs again? She's a Democrat.
I'm getting a no on it.
Okay, I see her running again, but I see Susan Collins voted out.
Okay.
Oh,
I hope so.
Kevin says you're doing fine, Mel. Thanks, Kevin. I'm beginning to wonder. I see Susan Collins voted out. You know, you think that she'd do one thing and she's a chameleon. She does something else, and
Well, she says the right thing on the camera, but then she'll vote somewhere else.
okay. So somebody asked about Lilac Lantern, and Sylvia says she's taking a break. She's playing her old shows from last year.
God bless.
So God bless. Okay. Here we go. This is it. Bemused Shaman. Ooh, I like that. Bemused Shaman. That is cool. Will Mama Trump be moved out of the golf course to a real grave like she wanted?
When he loses the tax write-off, yeah.
Yeah, because now it's a cemetery.
Yeah.
I see the next person in Florida as governor saying, wait a minute, you cannot make a golf course a cemetery.
Yeah, but that golf course in New Jersey.
Oh, in New Jersey, it's like, where is anybody else buried there? Nobody. So it's not a cemetery.
Well, let's get some stones ready for various people.
Oh, this is a good one. I keep saying one more, but we got a lot of good.
I know.
Ann W. Is there anything to the story that Judge Engoron is being investigated? No.
No. And yes, is Trump behind it? Yes.
Yes. Okay, here we go. This is it, you all. Kathy Reagans, hello, fabulous Auntie Mel, and the very dynamic Arthur. When do you see Ukraine and Palestine entering NATO?
I just froze up.
Oh, are you unfrozen?
No, I'm frozen.
I can hear your voice.
Okay, well, keep on going.
Well, in the event that you all can't see Arthur because he's frozen, it's the internet stuff again, the internet gremlins. I see Ukraine becoming part of NATO within the next year, 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. Palestine, they gave them, I think the United Nations gave them special privileges, but I don't think that they let them join NATO as of yet. But I think within the next 1.5 years to 2 years, they will. That's what I pick up.
Well, that's what I said earlier.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't.
I gave it 18 months, 2 years.
Okay. I don't know if people can hear you or see you, but anyway. All right. So this has been a pleasure. Okay. In order to get a hold of Arthur, how do they do it?
On YouTube, it's Arthur Ease Your Mind. On the web, it's www.arthureaseyourmind.com or area code 310-494-5955.
Okay, next week, next Tuesday, on Aloha Tuesday, I'm on Arthur's channel.
So I get to play with all the numbers and all the stuff and stars.
I'm sorry, say it again.
So then I get to play with all the, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh, you kind of get used to it. Okay. Anyway, so we'll see you next week. You know my information, 847-590-5411. Arthur, thank you. And until then, aloha and namaste. Bye.
Bye-bye.